dir kann ich nicht einfach vorbeigehen, ne?
Body betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to Al-Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick. Yes, Al-Ghul.
He means alcohol.
Ah.
Correct, my small skull servant. Al-Ghul is an ancient Ilmaran poison, a parasitic fungus that has colonized your race. It is a trick the desert pygmies played on you for humiliating them and stripping them of their land.
Intentionally fermented drinks have existed for 10,000 years.
This is a fabrication the alchemists of Yizot and Bashir and their Rolam and Rul have fed your people. Go on believing in it, race loser. Why don't you have another drink? Your features are not yet congenitally deformed enough.
Oh yeah, Measurehead.
It's not good.
It's like a rat crawled into your stomach, got drunk and drowned.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the...
Does this remind you of someone? The guy down there?
Begging for help. Attempting to pass fear for cooperation. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft. You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Khoikos. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You are obsessed with sadness and with frivolous pop culture. You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
It is my task to keep the degenerate drunks from entering the harbor. Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Simonine Islands and to Boogie Street and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum for you. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls.
There may be a peaceful solution to this. You could internalize Meshahed's race theory. He would take you as one of his own. Well, not as such. What you do with a mastery of advanced race theory is up to you. You could reject the findings, sure, or accept them and become an advanced racist.
Racists are generally not very good examples of their race.
Welcome to Revachol. You hear him yell at a redhead woman visiting the fritter nearby. He must think redheads are immigrants.
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenologic grid on.
The drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo-scientific ambitions. One thing, however, it is not entirely free of throwbacks in the phylogenetic tree. His large jaw, for example, could be a trait indicative of criminalism. Also, his earlobes could be small.
Your silence betrays your inferiority. You do not have a reply.
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
He had nothing to do with it.
Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that. Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront polycultural capital, something your race, naivistic communists, never did. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic. Jam. Individualism. You have gotten these ideas from degenerate youth culture, have you not? You have picked them up from rock and roll songs? Of course it does. You are a degenerate individualist and a rock and roll rebel. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much.
soll
This
einfach nur aus
has
dem Weg gehen.
happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminoles race.
Wer sind die?
The South Island race, haplogroup A4A. We are the rightful masters of the Insulindian archipelago. We descend from the Areopagites. We are the future. That I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Ulimbuir are with me in my genetic dreams. I see young Seminoles women walk into the grey mass on Ile de Fantôme, waiting on immaculate conception from the Bay. No, I have heard about it on the radio. I'm from Couronne, and no, it is not just in Revachol. The city is central to the Simony strategy. spreading through its trade networks our culture. Well, you have heard enough about our phylogenetic secrets for today. You have extinction to come to terms with, and never getting that dead.
I think this racist is better than the last, but the next racist will be the really good one.
That will be the...
There always is.
Race is reality.
Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Do you?
The lieutenant looks toward the harbor's electronic door, and then, to you, he lets out an audible sigh.
You are obviously a liberal, Sayolite. A polyculturalist. I can see it from your love of microtechnology and your sartorial choices. There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races. And the vile CF race cauldron of pederasty. Which one do you need education on? I knew you would go straight for the vile cauldron. Everyone does. You need to first learn about type A and B.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, it just won't make any sense.
Yes, it would seem nonsensical.
Oh.
Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Maun, of course. A receding genetic pool has led the Maun on reprehensible street parades. In Maun cities like Stadskanal and Vredefort, wearing wooden clothes. You know them by the names of their nation-states. The Oranese, the Gotwaldians, and
Mahoon is a derogative term for first world people of Gotwaldian descent. They do not all have eczema. Also, people of Katla, like the Suru, in some municipalities of Oranje, people do wish.
the Maun are proof that you can have too much Occident.
Colorful tassels are, let's be honest, not a good sartorial choice for this century.
The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteor, the other large Mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow, overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their, as proven by the Maun and the Mesk. Occidental type A is in retrograde. The Simonese and the Areopagites are on the ascent. The Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The Simonese are powerful, mesomorphic. The latter is perfected and adapting. Together, they type B are the unheroic races. Amorphous, non-competitive.
The Khoikos of Grad, Yugo, Zhimsk, Shest et al. Are what you would call white, officer, in a suspect description.
To an untrained eye, the Khoiko appear white and pinkish, like a ham sandwich. But look into their eyes and you will see. They are of an indistinct muddy color. Pinkness is a racial quality that has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare and cultural domination. That the Khoiko, the countless micronationalities of Grad.
Wouldn't he be one for ethnostates?
They are microscopic. The Semino-Areopagite superstate will cover the entire remaining planetary crust. Its leaders will be the genetic epitome of the Semenese and Areopagite Revacholians, halfway between Type A and the Racial Cauldron. Two makes to know right from wrong.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
The revolution came to Ravachol from Grad. In that, the revolution is fatal, familial, enough of type mediocrity. Tips CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic maladaptations. They are tortured lesser races like the mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a The mosquito is born sterile, like a donkey.
It seems unlikely that two human beings produce genetically sterile offspring.
Then there is the Semino-Koiki Chimera. Are you sure you wish to know of the Semino-Koiki Chimera? It is not an aesthetic site. That is understandable. Were there more forts in that tips you needed to be educated about? You understand nothing. To solve
verstehe
the
wirklich
great
nichts.
race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? You have not even worded the mystery, let alone solved it. We will see.
Access to the Union is important for our investigation, but there may be another way in, without becoming a race theoretician.
Ja.
Lost, though. Bucket. I cannot possibly imagine what else.
We still need to get...
Ich habe keine Ahnung, wovon der redet.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you? Sorry. Busy surveying the situation. I'm sure you'll figure something out. You guys have all sorts of gadgets these days. Wiretapping, telescopic batons, futuristic circuit bending to infiltrate harbor, or calling in tactical air support. You guys have air support, right?
Because we don't. We don't have air support, or any of those other things.
I get it. Hush hush about the secret technology. Alright, I may have some advice for you on how to deal with Jean-Luc there, out of solidarity to the RCM. First, don't fight him, obviously. Second, get him to share his theory by being subordinate. Admit your lack of expertise. Basically grovel. That's how I do it.
Maybe that would work. We'll have to see.
Ist noch ein anderer Weg.
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you! Not before you get in there and get your ass whooped. Learn by failure, I always say.
He might have some advice, but you got to at least try to fight Measurehead first. Return if you fail. A Stars Ryko, one of the finest Zhimsk-made motor carriages ever. An oldie, but a goldie. Not many people outside of Grad, and Revachol West too, it appears.
A Stash Ryko KK2. That's a classic model. Never thought I'd see another one repainted after what happened last time.
No, only that the motor carriage is typically baby blue. The colors of Sigismund the Great, an ancient Zhimsk ruler. His banners were famously zephyr and white. The colors of the Stars Ryko.
An old case for my precinct. A couple of gyms, they said it was an old...
Correction. 4,300 and...
Okay, jetzt probieren wir mal was. Eigentlich da.
Your raised descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
How did this happen? Your little fist is in his giant hand, and he's squeezing it. It hurts.
You must be out of your mind, degenerate drunk. Say it. I am a degenerate alcoholic.
Das ist keine Option scheinbar. Quick Load. Kannst ja nicht
Despair creeps into you, getting fat on your weakness. You're still coming up with sentence. He watches you melt down stoically. From nothing you cop gives up.
Your raised descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
How did this happen?
You must be out of your mind.
You feel something in your chest, an unnatural pressure. It's spreading to your left arm, your jaw. Very, very bad. This is the end bad. All you feel is pain and weakness. You have to surrender now. We all do. It gets so dark. Cop suffers final heart attack. A detective lieutenant.
Tja, hallo? Moral habe ich nur 1, Gesundheit habe ich nur 1. Tja, nicht die Gesundheit hochkriegen. Was ist denn hier?
Welcome to Frit. Feel free to look.
What's that magazine she's reading?
You mean this? This is Pop Stars. It's got, like, famous people in it.
Looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34. This speaks to you.
Yeah, they're kind of boring, but, you know. I don't know. Frit? A 7 to 11 grocery store? I think they think that the extra T makes it funkier. It doesn't.
The story goes that normal Fritta, with 2 T's, a men's workwear shop in Vredefort, was already taken.
Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but Reality? You mean what reality? Economic reality or...
She is like a student unexpectedly called upon by a teacher. Can she answer the classroom question?
I don't really know anything. I mean, I'm 15. I don't know. What about it? We're in for it? As mankind, or as a nation, or...
What will her essay prompt be?
We're in Revachol, like on the Insulindian Isola. You're welcome. I don't know. Look at the clock. It's right behind you on the wall.
The clock shows the time at 10:09. The hands seem to be still. It's apparent the clock doesn't work.
When ordinary people take over the government and demand democracy. Yeah, it happened like 50 years ago or so. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. Our government? Or do you mean something else? Cool. I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it, so... Not really. No. I didn't know him at all. I don't know, really... long? I don't know.
No need to worry. It's just standard procedure for us to ask around. If you hear anything, let us know, okay?
Okay. Uh-huh.
Die weiß nix.
You see several packaged. The packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take unnoticed. No need to worry about knocking over a display.
What is what? If you want to buy one, then it's only 4 real.
Her attention is drawn to the raincoats. Stealing one undetected will now be more difficult.
Hab ich auch nicht vor zu stehlen. Was wollte ich jetzt gucken? War das hier? Ja, hier wollte ich mal. Habe ich noch einen Punkt? Ich glaube, ich könnte auch noch leben.
The tear machine stands in the corner.
Oh, that's the tear machine. It's a machine for tear. You know, you find tear outside, like, you need a bag, I guess. We used to have some. Feel free to use it.
Nach Geld wollte ich gucken. Wo sehe ich Geld? Wie viel habe ich? Ach ja, das ist ja auch der Wert. Wo kann ich denn
Is this...
was verkaufen?
The tear machine stands.
Was ist das? Oh Mann.
A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. This panel usually closes the water lock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact. Nothing happens. The spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the water lock to get across the canal, some other way. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning? A typical Martinez streetlight sits.
Okay. Hier ist nur Plunder.
Whoa, what have we here? A bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if there ever was one. Guess so. Just be careful out there.
Wo bin ich jetzt? Hier so ab. Okay.
Hey, up here.
A sturdy metal door got
The streets will flow red once more, a great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C. Ask away, pigman, but I don't promise to answer.
a brush, an artist. The red splatter is urban expressionism. The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That Ozon whore. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an archipelago, 2 days.
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best bet.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to Ozon. Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Have you ever tried your hand at graffiti-o? When faced with a blank wall, most people write We rarely see pigs round here, though. This place is severely lacking in havoc. I thought I'd Yeah? Lying is cool, I guess. I ain't no snitch.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life. Watch your
Was ist das da überhaupt? Hier. Ist ja alles so broken.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her.
Good afternoon, officers. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it? Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub. A well-kempt, yet tastefully short bob of dark hair, despite the first hint positively statuesque, while dull orange pearls hang from. These are the kind eyes of the rich man that seem to say, within reason. Now look at you, you misery-clad simian, barely able to. You're poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too. Maybe you could ask her for some stock tips. That's a maybe.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask. Why, yes I am. Good. What we do.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container, and that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain.
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue. Yes, past a certain point, numbers begin to seem imaginary, but they are quite real for the 72,000 employees who depend on Wild Pines for their paychecks. A conglomerate the size of Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving and growing, it will die. Then they started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulan. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs. Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments that gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. Why? By throwing off half a century of foreign domination under the Coalition. Unfortunately for you, the Coalition also leases you the right to police West Revachol.
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines'
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place.
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
Now they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead. Yes, I believe there is a connection, but that's a subject for later. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of...
But the strike began.
I wasn't the original negotiator here.
This isn't the first time the...
Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes, both times.
Ludicrous even. It's meant.
Ach hey. Ich will eigentlich nur die Leiche mal endlich loswerden. Das Spiel lässt mich nicht. Was ist das? Ja, mach mal.
Of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective? I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Of course. But before we do, officers, let me be perfectly clear. The situation is extremely volatile. The sooner we can speak about this lynching business, the better for all of us. That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with. That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once. Better not tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with. This reality.
Yes, reality is your side case. An experimental side case.
Ah, yes, the episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy now that I think of it.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
We're in Martinez, baby. Martinez is a district of Revachol.
A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour. North of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And yes, we're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités Bleues, the Blue Immensities.
Caillou. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed-over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her and to humanity at large.
I would be happy to. These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late for the big time. The revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle. Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
She likes the totality of it.
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people. Yes, the Red Deluge. The Insulindian Deluge, they call it. Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. About head shooting. The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective, or the remaining gentry, the beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well. They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended.
We? She's one of them. Of course.
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights. The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people. The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper,
die ganzen
Messina,
Begriffe.
Oranje, and Sur-le-Clay,
die
the
Namen.
armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do. The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head.
Kann mir die Namen da nicht merken, was hier was ist.
At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government. This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
An almost endearingly moralist standpoint. It must be hard to take a moderate approach to head shooting in your line of work. The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end nearly the whole world had gotten involved. It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. It made people overthrow their governments. Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
It was a funny time in history. They discovered transistors and rock music, but they didn't know anything about pride.
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control. A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course. The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune. Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Time flies. The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. Oh wait, the 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessed. No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold... Welcome to reality, baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not. Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and led the Pines to doom. I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too. 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Good question. What would you have done differently? And I asked you, past-less detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you? So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with the technology 50 years ago? Always. That's the can't-do attitude that truly defines late modernity.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
Understandable. They are what they are. Who knows? Anyway, enough sentimental.
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
She nods slowly.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the moderate kind. Haven't you heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king under a shit wagon and I can see you thought I'd gone extinct. No sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a centrist at heart. A real moralist. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
A fitting punishment. To be forgotten, if not forgiven. Save a prayer for us in our chateaus on Ozon and in Stella Maris. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed. With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery, I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris.
She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched.
Then for my daughters, we had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it. Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
Warte mal, ich könnte mal... Das war, glaube ich, Ausdauer, ne? Wenn ich das jetzt 1 erhöhe, müsste ich ja Doppelschlag einstecken können, oder?
Seditious talk, man.
Perhaps.
You're no dummy yourself. And the crown on your head as you lay in the casket.
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality? A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions? Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games. Ah! This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislaine, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent or two. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise. Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo.
Splat, splat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush across her throat in a soaring motion.
Wonderful. The girl in the old lady rags. Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture. Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rag. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture. Young people who dye their hair funny colors and wear old people's clothes are stupid, and their little rebellion is self-defeating. All right, what next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
And what would that be? Ah, yes. That is what counts, I suppose. For my part, I was more of a new girl. The new, a cultural era, and the name of the decade it ravished, the 30s. It came out of post-revolutionary Revachol. It involved lots of partying, as you might imagine, and champagne-colored everything. By the looks of it, that would have been when you came of age. Now, wasn't it Guillaume Le Million who said, if you can remember the new, you weren't there?
For some reason, your mind is a veritable repository of Guillaume Le Million lyrics, trivia, and B-sides. But the time to explore this is when you're alone, facing a mirror perhaps. Right now, it would derail the reality lowdown.
Glad to have been of assistance. A little more lessons in basic reality. Glad to have been of assistance. Of course, detective.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez. It's also about that, but it's also more. Perhaps it's the hangover. Perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin, but something tells you. It's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times. Incrementally. History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment. Tisk tisk, Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future. You may never live to see the kingdom of conscience. Your children may not. Even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working. What rationality? What sang-froid? Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed? Then you've never lived through real chaos. Sometimes, in the face of great disaster, defending the status quo is progress. The kingdom is difficult to comprehend, and even more difficult to describe, partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The kingdom of conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual.
Was ist das für... Stuhl. Nicht kaputt gehen. Jetzt muss ich kurz mal... Wie ist denn das zu verstehen? Post. Könnte man was dazu finden? Bandname. Nein. Oh, das war...
What you want is immaterial. The kingdom of conscience is coming, whether you like it or not, only very slowly.
Jetzt probieren wir mal. Ich habe jetzt eine Ausdauer mehr.
Descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
How did this happen?
You must be out of your mind.
Your fist cracks in his hand.
The words to the song have changed. Say, I am a violent drunk.
Mist. In Moral, glaube ich. Hochleveln sollen. Nee, Willenskraft. Ja, Willenskraft. Eieiei. Ich klicke einfach. Doppelklick für Sprinten? Okay. Ja, auch Bedürfnisse, so von Müdigkeit her. Weiß es nicht. Was ist denn das eigentlich? Ah. Check mal oben ab.
The door is closed. Still nothing. The lieutenant gives you a quick glance. This door can only be opened with a key or from the inside.
So. Okay. Das habe ich vergessen.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the...
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Sure, officer. What's the number? And the make of the armor, if you know it. Got it. I'll contact the ICP database immediately. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have dug up something useful by then.
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is an inter-Isolari law enforcement service, the crown jewel in the moral intern diadem, alongside EPIS and the coalition government.
Of course. What is her number, officer?
Yes, hold on. Her number is 005 1944 298.
Received. Hold on, officer.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi slowly begins to tap a little rhythm with his right foot. Quite a lot of time has passed.
Officer, I have Sylvie Malaika on the line for you. Yes, hello? Oh, right. Hello, officer. What can I do for you? You mean, why did I leave the bar? Honestly, I'm not really comfortable discussing it with you, sir.
Why not?
Let's just say I left because I needed to get away from someone. You know whom? Maybe, I don't know. I just know I have to take some time off right now. No, not me. What? Of course it bothered me. But I thought the Union already knew about the corpse. No one calls the police. The Union would get angry. You know, what the union says goes. People listen to them and they take care of their own, which is like everyone here. I don't know what to tell you, officer. I didn't call you because I didn't want to get in trouble with the others. With the union. I'm sorry about that. No, sorry. I don't. Not a lot of people have phones around here. Copper thieves take the wires. People don't have the money to have the cables put in again. They use the union's phone, or the one on the coast.
So the Union has a phone, and there's one further down the coast. Got it.
It was someone else. We'll find them sooner or later, officer. It just might take a while.
Yeah, go on. Yes, I know who you are. You're a police officer. The law.
This exact conversation has happened before. Establishing authority before this young girl seems to have been important to you in the past. Don't go there again.
Oh, no, I haven't, sorry.
Real policemen have uniforms too, by the way. Where's yours? He's in plain clothes, voluntarily. It's different from not knowing where your uniform is.
Please, no. Not this again. Everyone saw your cool gun, detective. You were trying to impress some people with it. Everyone was eating, and... You were waving it around in everyone's face, begging them to describe it. You said it calms you, and then you started making suicide jokes. It got pretty graphic.
Oh, those again. I have been trying to wean you off them. You know, when you put your gun, your actual gun, on your temple and pretend to shoot your brains out, off of that, people don't like that. I remember this. You were screaming things like, "My brains are all over the wall, painting them red. I won't be seeing it, 'cause these are my brains. I can't see without my brains." Very nice visuals there.
Me neither. No idea. All I know is next you were waving around money instead, saying things like big bucks cannot lie and guns can't buy money, but money can always buy guns. It almost looked like you pawned it, but believe me, I did not ask. Uniform? I never saw you in any uniform.
Yeah.
You had your things on, the disco things. Well, you tried to jam it down the toilet, sir, clogging it completely. After I had unclogged the toilet and retrieved the paperwork, I threw it out in the trash, thinking you didn't need it. I am sorry about that. Anything else, detective? I do hope so. Please, don't call me again. Bye.
You hear the call breaking up on the other end of the radio, and then the already familiar voice.
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
As always, it's DJ Mesh and Fellatio, and you're listening to...
A flock of seagulls takes off nearby, startled by the roaring radio. Right away, the lieutenant reaches into the cabin and turns off the radio.
Someone must have been messing with the radio, or maybe picked up a random frequency. You wanted a prime line, right?
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? 57th, over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers, a radio on a hook, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge. The white suede feels luxurious under the touch, and the metal clutch handle so very familiar in your palm. As you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in the large orange sector, indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gauge is a red switch labeled heat.
Now, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they are mesmerizing. They're also fragile. I'm not going to turn it on for you again.
A metallic drawer slides out from under the seat and clicks into place. The tools inside are neatly organized.
Take what you need, officer. It's going to be a long case. I'm not protective of my tools, like some men are.
He's clearly a little protective of his tools. But what can you do? Work is work. The pry bar feels nice and cold in your hand. Useful for opening all sorts of doors and lids. The handles are long and sleek. Snaps. You can do good work with these. Cut chains, locks, and ropes. Especially, it's robust, weatherproof, and well made. Lets you see things in the dark you would out the pull-out toolbox slide.
So, jetzt bin ich ja equipped auch. Kann ich vielleicht deutlich mehr machen.
Does Kuno care? Kuno does...
Okay. Nicht da. So,
The trash container stand. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you.
Ich habe auch nicht mehr
You see
abgesperrt.
soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. You see milk. You've done this before. The movements are no. Searching for evidence. A box falls in. The container sounds a muffled gong.
Ich dachte jetzt, wo ich die Taschenlampe habe. Warte mal, habe ich nicht irgendwas? Weiß nicht. Das hier kann ich wieder wegmachen.
An inconspicuous pile. It's nothing. Glad you asked. When junior researcher, because it's nice and orderly, well-let rhythmic pattern calms your mind. Mammals like this stuff.
Da hatte ich diesmal kein Glück. Da hoch komme ich ja
The man
normalerweise
before you
nicht.
is naked, but for a pair of underpants and white.
Mich ja, glaube schon entschieden, dass wir keine andere Lösung haben.
I am a gander and a hunter and a gatherer.
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
From another planet. Hey there. It's the jam, my man.
The air from the east is thick with the smell of crude oils.
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here.
Mazout is an antiquated term for heavy fuel oils. This man has a barely suppressed performative streak, or he just likes unusual words, or both.
Everyone's a critic, man. It's okay. I've been here a whole week already. So tell me, what do you need? It's like, whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands.
Going on strike would probably help you dodge a bullet or two.
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town too. Like a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. They want to keep that money flowing in, my man.
He doesn't blame them, but he's not on their side. That's for sure.
Anything else? Us lorry drivers, camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a...
He tries his best to look nonchalant, but there's a rigidity in him, as if trying to conceal something warm and deep beneath a cool exterior.
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in...
Ask for his conclusion.
A sense of surprise there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees. Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Relax. He's merely joking.
Can't even get a few jokes past you, my man. I've got another haul of found cargo. Mostly sporting goods, tracksuits, and that kind of thing. They usually get shipped to Grad in the Occident, though we've been making headway in the Il-Moran market lately. We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy. This rockin' beauty. Sure is, like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery?
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of found rust bucket. Maybe the A6.
Yeah, it must be. Your job's to know all these little things, isn't it? Well, my job is to deliver tracksuit trousers. Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road.
The man taps his fingers.
Huh? Oh. No, I ain't got any money. They don't want to pay for unfinished work. The bosses, man. Dunno. What you need? Don't be a stranger.
Okay. Ist ja auch jeder Versuch, irgendwo Geld zu bekommen, fehlgeschlagen. Ach hier, das habe ich 0,60. Was ist denn da? Nimm's mal mit. Okay. Ich habe Geld gefunden.
The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as her smile.
Dann noch mehr Geld. Oh ja.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy grad made. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with the driver has adorned his. A large metal pendant hangs from the. It is the seal of Royalist era Revachol. The back end of the cabin has a small perch. A book with ragged edges catches your note.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
There he is, in front of Rita, smoking nervously, hoping it's over.
Und noch mehr Geld. Okay. Das hier hat nur 2 gekostet, oder?
You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottle.
Jo.
Looking for something? Oh man, that's great. Look at that guy go. God damn. Thanks for that, but no.
He doesn't live in Martinez.
Hello again, officer.
Okay, ich schaue mir nochmal die Tasse an. Was hat's mit der Tasse auf sich? Ich dachte, ich hab nur so unnötig Müll.
It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? But it will not happen. The mug talk.
Keine Ahnung.
You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers them. The tire tracks were left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message, written in the language of burnt rubber. Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the whirling rags. This is point A. And then accelerated straight into the fence, left a hole big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry. The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before hitting the adjacent building. Before heading south, must have been in a hurry.
I'm not sure. There are plenty of traffic accidents waiting to happen in Martinez. With the jam right here on the roundabout, I would keep them separate.
You could follow the track south. There seems to be a canal there. See where they went, if you find the time.
You are correct. This is a rather motor carriage-friendly city.
Was ist das?
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. This button looks new, but someone has removed the name card.
Huh. This button looks new. It's probably not connected yet.
Looks like someone has melted half the plastic off with a lighter. The doorbell doesn't work anymore. Silence. No one answers your call. Nothing happens after you ring the doorbell. They don't want to talk to you. Silence. No one answers the doorbell. Silence. You hear static from the intercom speaker. It sounds as if someone has picked up the receiver but isn't saying anything. You can almost hear them breathe.
Yes, hello. This is Tricentennial Electric. Have you come to place an order?
She sounds almost antique, as if her voice was being played off an old wax cylinder. Wait, but what happened to Slipstream SCA? There's no Tricentennial Electrics on the list.
My God.
The lieutenant exchanges a look with you.
It's you. My God. I didn't think I would hear your voice.
She must be mistaking you for someone else. Who cares that you don't remember her? Just go along with it.
Michelle, just please. Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. I thought you didn't care. Ever since I came to work here, it's been different. As if my mind's been...
A spot of static overrides her words.
It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to finally meet again.
She sounds like she's about to cry. She doesn't answer. Silence. The only thing you can hear now is static and waves washing ashore on the bay. Another seagull passes by. It's getting cold standing here.
I don't know what happened either. We should probably stop playing with this thing.
You press the number sign on the keypad that terminates the call. You wait for a minute or two. You ring the doorbell, but all you hear is static, but no one answers. You ring the doorbell, but no. What an ominous name for a hair salon. Doesn't bode well for anyone's hair. An off-key melody.
Kuno, please stop calling here. Grown-ups don't have time for your stupid games.
She thinks you're the gremlin child. What would he say to this?
Please don't do that. Doorbells are not toys, and this one isn't even working properly. Please don't call us again. Thank you.
A single beep indicates that the line has gone dead.
Okay. Bin ich als nächstes angehen. Das ist schon wichtig, finde ich. Uiuiui. komme ich da hin?
An inconspicuous pile of the roof.
Kann ich das immer wieder anklicken? Oh, hier ist jetzt was los.
Can I help you? What thing? Yes, not the whole damn union, thank God. Just the nastiest and loudest. They come here in the evenings.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Lord, we don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get hungry, even men on...
You glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager. Huh.
Good question.
They're probably getting drunk or protesting something somewhere. Or playing... They probably fucking kill...
I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance sooner or later.
What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the whirling later.
Absolutely out of the question.
Absolutely in the question. First we find out your body is ready, sire.
Was ist das?
A thin man is smoking below as you step in. Okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Garancy Quebec. Please, it's not funny. The man puts his cup down and replies something. His left hand drawing arcs. He smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots. It's almost like music, especially with the sounds of assorted dishes boiling and simmering on the stove.
Wow.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue. The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. Old cobalt paint, rough on the fingers. 40, 50 years since. It leads to a side building, adjacent to this one. The door does not budge.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads? Yes, I suppose it's worth seeing if we can get in. Just to be thorough. As a side investigation.
It's hardly a side investigation. You already have a name for it.
Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. Oh yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door. No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10 years. It's just a frit warehouse, probably. Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust. Junk and dust.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about one locked door in one of the cafeterias I manage. So I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though, after the animals. And I haven't found a key, so good luck with that. Yes?
Okay. Ein Schlüssel.
You see a heavy steel door.
Ja, wie schaut das aus? Der wird doch nicht da 24/7 da Wache halten, oder? Was Neues reden.
Right to work!
Hola, wandering man. How can I help you? Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder. Of course, Policia. It wasn't me. You can rule me out. Easier that way.
He didn't do it. It's the truth.
Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
The coin lands into your hand as if it has always belonged there. The swallow returns.
Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't do more. Things are meager at the moment due to... You know, the winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing though.
Endlich mal jemand, der Geld gibt.
Nothing to worry about, really. The jam's a bit of a mess, cargo can't get in or out. The rationing is a bit stricter is all. Supplies should last the strike, though.
Was hat der ursprünglich gesagt?
I'm always glad to help out when possible. Not like these slithering scabs. You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you. You'll have to ask him first.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike too. Just can't break the command structure and tell you now.
Ich auch. So, wir haben ein Problem.
Yes? What do you want to know? What's there to say? It's just stupidity. The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the industrial harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who get. I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell.
So he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness. Somewhere in your mind hangs a dark green blackboard. There are 2 columns. One says, cases solved. The other, confirmed kills. The rows are endless. Jean Vicmer, Judith Minot, a special consultant. What was his name? Then the rows degrade into green nothingness.
Yes, I'm an unrepentant spoilsport. Well, technically, the official record keeper has been known to double-count murder-suicides.
A common accounting gimmick used to inflate precinct stats.
I'm good enough for this case. I'm not here to compete. I came because I had to. My fellow officers, the sergeants in particular, would have made this scene into a circus. Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. Most of our colleagues don't even know how to get here. North of the interchange doesn't exist.
It's all part of the master plan, you see.
Really? It can't be that. Are you sure? Who could say it's not true? If you really don't remember anything, how would you know? We should move. Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget I ever mentioned it.
Look at you. It's because you're a failure. They sent you to slight Precinct 57. Just think about it for a second. You're a raging alcoholic who showed up 3 days late wearing piss-stained disco garb. You weren't sent here to win.
I've considered it. It would be immensely ugly of them, not to mention unprofessional. But I also think it's somewhat unlikely. I checked the records. This jurisdiction dispute, who polices Martinez, reaches back to the 30s. It's as old as my station. And all this time we can't decide who gets Martinez? I think, yes, both stations would prefer a win. Safe? No. But you're old. You've made it this far. Something has brought you through. We've only just started working together, so I don't know what it is yet. But it's there. So no, I don't think they sent you as a joke. And even if they did, they are in for a surprise.
No response. He just arches his brow. He's having trouble processing it, believing it even.
Have you tried concentrating on something other than your personal affairs?
There is a sudden, harsh edge to his voice, like he's tired of hearing about your personal affairs.
Really? You look fine to me. This psychodrama is unbecoming of an officer.
Clearly, he prefers to think you're malingering. He cannot fathom that anyone could drink so much as to retroactively erase their entire life.
Then you should consider seeking medical attention. You can use the radio in my kinema to call your station's Lazareth. Was there anything else you wanted? Me? I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation. That's a fair point. All right, for the good of the investigation, what do you want to know? No.
Your brain sends the signal to your lips, but they refuse the order. Something is paralyzing them. It's like you're locked down. The lieutenant relaxes his eyebrow, and you seem to regain control of yourself.
What do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking about.
The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary.
I can't say that it does. No. When I need to think, I just use my notebook.
The lieutenant produces his familiar mnemotechnique A6 and idly thumbs through a few pages. We all have our different mediums. His is written.
That's correct.
You feel a slight urge to put the lieutenant down for this, but you can't quite muster enough testosterone.
Are they? They are mostly just cumbersome. That's because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul, so was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. It's not an interesting topic. It's a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity, and a geographic division. I told you it wouldn't be interesting.
Seoul is a protectionist, isolationist, pan-Isolari state west of the Insulindian Isola. Actually, it's quite interesting. Some would even say mysterious.
I can see you're disappointed. You are right to be. I don't speak a word of Seolite. I've never met either one of my grandparents. I've never been to Seoul. I'm a regular, garden variety of a chaudière.
A point of pride to him.
Good. Let's change this.
Okay. Das Revier abchecken.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? It will take just a moment.
Her voices fade out.
Gottlieb, what do you want?
He's carelessly chewing on a piece of hard candy.
Oh, it's you. With all the damage you've been dealing yourself with drugs and alcohol, I'm not surprised. What else? I'm not a brain doctor. Look on the bright side. You've got a whole new life now. Use it wisely.
It's hard to say if he doesn't believe you or doesn't care.
What? You want me to do blood work for you again? Tell you just how bad things really are across the board? You want another rundown of everything collapsing inside your body? You want the real, honest-to-God truth? Stop drinking, eat magnesium and vitamin D. Our station is not a retirement home. We don't have the funds to deal with rock stars past their prime. And no, I don't want to hear a political commentary on the topic. In fact, I got work to do. Some idiot has glued it.
It's not fucking cryoacrylate. It's super glue, Doc.
Cyanoacrylate is superglue.
Firewalker? Oh, yes, you are. Just don't breathe in the general direction of... Do exactly that. Put yourself out.
It would be an artistic. Self-immolation has been all the rage in Lomanpang for a while now, especially among university students. Young religious people protesting on the Seraise government, which they consider to be oppressive. It's also got something to do with the encroaching Occidental influences on the local way of life. You have to not like a lot of things to set yourself on fire. Ignorance is bliss, as they say. Go ahead, answer the man.
Sounds more like a newspaper headline that will surprise absolutely no one. Now, that's because you're hungover. Even the radio waves coming from your direction smell like liquor. Do you feel like your eyes are twitching too? That's the tiny vessels pulsating from high blood pressure, stupid officer. You might be sustaining permanent damage to your vision as we speak. The busy kind. It's not life-threatening, just...
It certainly does not help with aiming.
And you survived it. Congratulations. Are you mobile? Even better. Anything else? I wouldn't worry about that. Officers your age have coronary trouble all the time. Also, death is a natural part of life.
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
So, jetzt kann ich hier einen Punkt hingeben. Und jetzt kann ich es vielleicht einmal aushalten. Mal schauen.
In the cabin, you see.
Warte mal, ich check hier nochmal ab. Stand hier drauf.
Descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
How did this happen?
You must be out of your mind, degenerate drunk. Say it.
Your fist cracks in his hand.
The words to the song have changed. Good. Now leave before before you humiliate your homoerotic organization any further.
I'd appreciate it if you didn't force us into situations where I may have to shoot random civilians, because that won't get us anywhere.
Okay.
I'm not even sure the one bullet my chamber holds would even prick that hook.
The lieutenant groans, but doesn't say any.
Oh. Hat er die Erfahrung gemacht?
Nice aggression with the native. Don't let the chief fool you next time. You don't need to be that up in his face.
Not bad advice, actually. This might do the trick.
Let's talk about our right to work. No, I'm not a fighter. I'm a worker.
Okay, wow. Das war der einzige Tipp. Ich sehe das nicht als Lösung. Das kann ich eigentlich mal versuchen, oder?
The window stands broken in its frame. Cold wind blows in. The shards face outward. Whatever broke this window came from the inside. A fine web of scarring covers the back of your right hand, but none of it is recent. More likely a projectile than a held object. There are no fragments on the floor from pulling a tool back in after impact. Something you've done before. It is too large for a bullet, yet too small for a piece of furniture. You're looking for something heavy and larger than your fist. The shoe you found on the balcony fits the hole almost as well as your foot. It would have also been heavy enough if thrown with force. Congratulations, you smashed the window with your own shoe. You mean someone else took your shoe off and smashed the window with it? This person also forced the drinks on you. And maybe, just maybe, you succeeded. We'll... A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression. It belongs in the new, the third decade of the current century. Enough time had passed from the failure of the revolution that, for a fleeting moment, free market economy seemed like the old. Things were good. It was smooth sailing. People made gold and champagne-tinted interiors and facades to suit the times, calling this the new style. But more importantly, disco happened. Forget about ostentatious orchestrations. For Revachol, your city, that meant only one thing. Guillaume le Million. If it doesn't rhyme, you're not pronouncing it right. Out of the dazzling swirl of disco music, in an open-air boîte de nuit, somewhere in Revachol West, Guillaume's blonde mane appeared on the screen. He sang some bullshit. Then he made the expression. Everyone loved it. Maybe you thought some of the stardust would rub off on you. Maybe it did. Either way, it's all gone now. Only the grimace remains. The click is used to spur on a horse. It also features heavily in Guillaume le Million's regional mega hit. Sometimes you like to add finger pistols to them. There is a vast ocean of time between right now and the expression. You have some understanding of the near history of disco, plus the trivia you've picked up along the way. Episodic memory, however, remains in the dark. It may never return. You should prepare. Not really. OO must have just stirred your mind. They're more like a disco rock band anyway. It doesn't have to be. You can swoon over Guillaume and his champagne-corked smile whenever you want to. Maybe some of the stardust will return.
-1 Logik. Vorübergehend. Achso. Ach so. Das muss ich auch freischalten. Eieiei.
Ray's descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
Komm ich da?
The woman still has No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail to reach her.
Is this about the questions again? A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does.
She looks up from under her brow.
Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay?
Was ist da eigentlich?
Looking for something?
Hello again, my man.
Wie?
Hello again, officer. How? Excuse me? Oh. Well, I didn't write it there. I'm just sitting here. Okay. Excuse me? Oh. Well, I didn't write it there. I'm just sitting here. I don't know anything about that either. As I said...
Pig is a widely used term for members of the...
No need to worry. We are not saying you did.
Okay.
Fuck, does Kuno care? Kuno doesn't...
I'll die before I squeal, pig. I come from the woods, good Davidu.
Don't be traumatized.
I'll die before I squeal, pig. What's this kid shit?
Get the fuck...
So it's a girl. Interesting.
I'll die before I squeal, pig. Murder was the case, though. I'll die before I squeal, pig. You don't want to...
You can still see the top of her hat from behind.
Okay. Was ist hier?
This Post Lavatorie mail collection box. A faint sticker on the side reads, RCM Emergencies Desk number 8102, with a slogan, Mankind, be vigilant.
Welt, was war das?
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open. Are you interested in a new and exciting book? It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies.
Books? Postcards? Easy. Even a kid would know all of this. Don't be a fool. As an expert, it's your duty to tell what you know to everyone.
Are you okay? You've been standing here silently for a while now. Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. Oh no, sir. I'm happy to help Mum by luring in customers. Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep warm. I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running. School? Well, mine is a big yellow building on Boogie Street, and the people there run it. They say it's a charity. Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful.
There is stress and unease behind these words.
Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed. Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals.
Crime is what we were solving before this conversation began.
It's exciting to people, I guess. They get to imagine dangerous things. You don't look much like a policeman. Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen. More about books, maybe?
Mal reingucken.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Raubritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after a while. We have games for the whole family. You can play with your children. Friends are technically like family. For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building. Welcome to crime. Be welcome. And please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space. Sir, don't be ridiculous. I certainly will not give you money. One has to earn one's success.
Certainly there are good things to be said about dependence.
Oh my, of course. What a man. I am. The proudest owner of our little shop of goodness. You were already doing good, browsing the shelves. Why'd you stop? Don't you feel compelled? Go. Everything is on the shelves.
She smiles and nods.
Yep.
You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only. Nothing. Now please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books? The books are all you care about.
She speaks almost as if she's trying to put a spell on you, urging you to buy more books. Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become. You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside, a disturbing fish head with empty eye sockets stares at you. This is a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protection against ill luck, bad dreams, inhabitants of Elysium. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing.
Okay.
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. A couple of spook novels hide amidst all the detective books.
Oh, crime, robbery, you're a police...
Note, read crime fiction. These books, what's more, not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of all the books found on the shelf? You see, Dick Mullen on the job. Get me Mullen. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the murder house. The final case of Dick Mullen. An obvious lie. Dick Mullen in the clock tower. The ordeal. Yes, there's also the dame who did. Tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen? Your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawling across the spine of a book. The title reads, Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity. A worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic hard-boiled phase. The premise seems to be that Dick Mullen is framed for the murder. Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals? Then this is the book for you.
Wo kriege ich überhaupt so viel Geld her?
Several maps have been attacked. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of this large map displays Ozon, Lorenta disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou. You can, on Caillou, 850 million. The ocean breaks apart connections to other worlds. You have little idea what they are. Perhaps they are gods. Gods of the north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the... To the east, road Kudon. It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait.
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. That old thing. It's an app from when some...
The place does not look like...
They didn't get that far. For some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business.
Das kann ich mir leisten.
Always good to be informed of your...
Aber
the worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez. Your finger moves through the various streets, finally coming to a halt.
For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal and select the Map tab.
Oh. Wo kann ich was verkaufen? Hey. Was? Oha. Aber wo kaufe ich die?
This coin-operated viewer is faced. Why place a tourist attraction in the... Da, wie kommt man da hin? Hier? So. An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite.
Also, muss ich erst wieder... Und hier? Weiß ich nicht. Ich kann das nicht hier kaufen.
Is this about the question?
Guck mal.
The tear machine stands in the corner. Your bottles clunk into the machine. The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, 1 bottle equals 10 cents.
No. You need tear to use the tear machine.
Wie wenig kommt da raus? Das ist gerade die einzige Möglichkeit, wie ich irgendwie an Geld komme, ne? Tja, so viel war hier aber nicht. Das ist cool. Ach, guck mal.
Are you trying trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep?
Apparently, she doesn't like people standing behind her. Logic error. She is not sleeping right now.
Pig's come to take me out, trying to snuff me out. Then why are you sneaking up on me like that? It's not a good idea to scare me, pig. Not a good idea at all. Trying to sneak...
Muster.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
Can't get involved in this.
You see a young man on a balcony.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
It's the voice of someone who has something to hide, my liege.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie, if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
Don't let him go. This could be your witness.
Is it really that important?
Like a nervous cat, he keeps stealing looks at the neighboring windows.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run. I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme. Do you have an estimate of when the body will be taken away?
We will remove the body as soon as possible. Now tell us, where were you last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Wait, is someone else investigating the lynching?
No, not you two. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Last week? I don't know. Look.
He's an actor declaiming a soliloquy. See how you hang on his every word?
You didn't answer the question. What were you doing last Sunday?
I had a friend over. It was my Sunday friend.
He doesn't reply. Gesturing no.
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
That's definitely not his real name.
No, of course not. Could you please lower your voice? No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going. Good luck with the investigation.
Okay. Was ist hier?
He's gone. No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself. He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type. There has to be a way of getting inside the building. Let's go check out the door near the pier again.
Hello? Okay.
There must be another way into the building.
Was war das?
Yes?
Auf einmal ultra laut.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
I ain't no
Actually,
We weren't put on this earth.
Das hatte ich schon. Ich glaube, das ploppt immer auf, wenn ich da was einsammle, oder? Aber das zeigt er ja gar nicht an.
A sturdy metal door. This could be a way into the apartment building the smoking man vanished into. The door rattles against your knuckles, but there's no response. The door rattles again, but this time you hear an elderly woman's voice calling out from inside.
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers inside. Doesn't matter who I am. Now go on, get out of here.
From within comes the faint sound of a broom sweeping across the concrete floor.
Ha! The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No, I already told you. I won't be responsible for any more strangers getting into the building. Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Backyard door. With the smoker. You already were there. Didn't work.
Good. We had enough problems with bums and drunks and thieves loitering in the hallway. You have no business here.
Madame, I assure you, we are real police officers.
There is no reply. Just faint, sweeping sounds inside. You can't think of anything convincing. Time for some police brutality.
No, you're not.
Na toll. Oh Mann. Ich konnte ja auch nicht mal abbrechen.
Despair creeps into you, getting fat on your weakness. You're still coming up with sentences. That's a step up from total annihilation, right?
yes, it can be difficult to be on the receiving end.
Nothing you can say would make you feel. Cop gives up the detective genre for social realism. Another police officer resigned from the RCM following a nervous breakdown.